Hi, my name is Caron Gordon, and let me do my disclaimer because sometimes I don't remember to, so I'll do that first. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm an alternative medicine student, and basically I like to share with you some of the things I've personally tried that have worked for me, and you can try them too. And these are mainly herbs, natural remedies that you can try for just about any sickness or disease, especially with the help of a trained practitioner. Okay, all right, today I'm going to be talking about chronic sinusitis because a lot of people have problems with their sinuses, so I really want to discuss that today in this video, and I'll try my best to stay very focused on the topic, just really looking at chronic sinusitis and the problems some people do have with it and ways you can ease it, or some kind of practices that you can develop that will help you to manage that kind of ailment. So actually we have four pairs of sinuses. There are air-filled cavities. They're located between the eyes, right, and below the brain. So that's what we know about it. There are small, very small openings, very small, openings, and sometimes they're irritated by flus, viruses, or allergies. So when we have probably a virus infection, they sometimes get swollen and then they're blocked. The passages become blocked and sometimes they become infected. So we might be having a sinus infection. Could be bacterial and it could be fungal as well. So the treatment basically depends on what kind of infection you're dealing with. That's one of the things that the practitioner would take into consideration. One of the things about sinus is that a lot of people have problems with their sinuses, a lot. There are like 20 million cases in the US alone. And according to a study by Stanford University, is the fifth most common diagnosis for which antibiotic is prescribed. Okay, and we're going to talk about some of those things briefly in this video. Over $3 billion is spent on medication relating to sinus infections. So yes, those are some of the things that we really need to know. So there are a lot of sufferers, a lot of people suffering with chronic sinusitis. In the end, what you really realize, it's really a problem of inflammation, and we'll get into that, some of the things that we can do, but we want to talk about some of the symptoms. My list, when I speak about the herbs or things you can use, vitamins, it's not exhaustive. You can also pay attention to your diet. That too will be important when you're working with chronic sinusitis. All right, some of the symptoms: fatigue, like tired, you're waking up tired. Some people are exhausted and they don't even realize that it is connected to the chronic sinusitis problem they're having. Bad breath. All right, a lot of times when persons have bad breath, it is either from the sinuses or it could be from the gut, right? So it's really it has a lot to do with the gut, and persons with bad breath, they can talk with their practitioners about that, and of course they'll help them to clean the gut. Of course, sometimes it has to do with the tongue as well. It's important to clean your tongue and also the sinuses. All right, it causes stress in the face. So sometimes people have pains here or in the face. It causes headache, sneezing. Persons might sneeze a lot. Causes sleep apnea. So some persons' sleep is disturbed. It causes vertigo, dizziness, ear infection, bacterial. As I said before, it can be bacterial or fungal. Persons with it sometimes have shorter breath or they have panic attacks. So these are some of the things, or some of the symptoms persons with sinus issues will complain about. All right, how do we deal with it, and what are some of the things that we can do? I want to mention 3 things pretty quickly though. We must avoid alcohol for persons who have sinus problems. Alcohol, if you have bad sinusitis as well as chronic yeast infection, you want to avoid alcohol. You also want to avoid dairy, but we're really talking about sinusitis today, but I just had to drop that in. You want to avoid dairy because they increase mucus, all right? And also you definitely need to avoid sugar, or you really want to lower it. How do you know when your sinus is infected? It is, you'll have yellow or greenish mucus that is draining or coming out. I always say to reduce sugar from most of the diseases. It is very crucial because it really causes inflammation. In addition to that, it lowers the immune system. But I also want people to understand that sugar goes by at least 60 plus different titles. So sometimes persons will say, okay, I am not taking sugar anymore, I don't use sugar anymore, but you might be having it in so many other meals and not realizing, meals or drinks. So you need to also educate yourself on the different names or labels that sugar come under, so that when you're purchasing your food, you can, you know, be better educated about the labels. All right, so these are some of the things we want to talk about today with sinusitis. So it is inflammation of the mucous membrane. So remember, that area is inflamed. What can we do? And I want to go over that quickly. So I already mentioned you're going to decrease your alcohol consumption, your sugars, your dairy products. Those things cause a lot of mucus to be there. What is very important to you at this point is your vitamin C, and there is nothing I'm going to ever tell you that vitamin C is not important where it is not important. So you really want to increase your intake of vitamin C, whether you do it in a pill form or, you know, your leaves, your vegetables, your fruits, the skin of your lemon, your orange peel, or have a lot more lemon and orange peel. But you definitely want to increase your intake of vitamin C. So what you can do, you can make your own saline. You can use, because saline is really salt water, but you can add a few drops of hydrogen peroxide to the saline that you use. All right, so that you want to add that to your nose spray, if you have a saline spray, and that will help in terms of the infection. Now, these are things you can do if you're trying to avoid taking antibiotics, because a lot of people who take antibiotics, they end up with yeast infections, like really bad yeast infection after using it, plus so many other side effects. Plus people are getting too used to antibiotics, so they're not even working like they used to. All right, so that is one of the things you can do with the saline. You can do 2 nasal nasal steams per day. So you want to do that twice per day. You can use sorrel leaves, okay? You can use your vitamin C and your salt solution. So and you kind of do like a nasal steam. So whether your vitamin C could be a lemon peel, your orange peel, and you add some salt to that, and then you inhale it. So you really want to steam, so the steam goes up in the sinuses. You're trying to reduce the swelling as well as opening your breathing passages. All right, remember, if you're having chronic sinusitis, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You just want to work on it, practice some of these things, doing it twice per day, or for at least a month, and see how it works with you. Like for me personally, when I'm treating myself for anything, I'll try 2 or 3 different things, and the one that works best for me, I kind of like stick with that. All right, so here are some of the things that you can use to help you with chronic sinusitis. The blossom from the lime tree, the basil leaves. You're talking about sage, please write them down, because sage has antimicrobial properties. That's a really very good one. The basil leaves kill the bacteria and it stimulates the immune system, so you're getting 2 for the price of 1 with the basil leaves, so that's good. One of the things you can also do For a saline, you could use colloidal silver. So if you're not using the salt and the hydrogen peroxide, or the salt and the vitamin C, you could also use your colloidal silver as a saline. All right, like nasal spray, or some people use a neti pot, you know, and when they make like the saline, they will use the neti pot to drain the sinuses. And you have to be very careful about how you use the neti pot, because I don't want a body drown, and I'm responsible. So be very careful about the way you use that. Cinnamon bark, I have a video that I spoke about thyme in one entire video, so you might want to find that video. But thyme is very, very good. It helps to promote expulsion, so all of that mucus, it will help you to expel, all right, from your sinuses. So you really want to drink a lot of thyme tea, or if you can steam it and you inhale it. All right, golden seal, the berberine from the golden seal is very good, or you can purchase the berberine in supplement form. So it has antibacterial properties, and it's an immunostimulator, so it really stimulates your immune system. That's the golden seal. You're talking about echinacea, and the berberine from the golden seal is very good to take when you're talking about chronic sinusitis. All right, garlic. We talk about garlic over and over. The antimicrobial properties. It has sulfur, which you need, or you could also try for the sulfur, the homeopathic sulfurs. You can try that too. Of course, if you're using homeopathic pellets, remember that you're not supposed to touch these pellets at all. You make sure that you pour them in the cover and take it from there, but you do not want to contaminate the pellets. That's very important for homeopathic remedies. All right. Garlic inhibits the pathogenic organism, so it prevents them from multiplying, which is good. So garlic, you know, is really a strong antibiotic. How you can take the garlic, you can soak the garlic pegs in water. You can drink that water. Some persons cut them up fine like a pill, and then they'll just swallow it down like 3 pegs. You do that first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. I'll talk a little more about that as I go along. All right. Let me see what else I want to say. Rosemary. And you know, rosemary is very, very good for the memory too. You can make your rosemary tinctures, and you can supplement on that. And you'll find that it really helps you in terms, not just of the memory, for those who have memory issues, but definitely there are so many good things about the rosemary, though. You can't say enough about that, but you can definitely use it to help with your sinus issues. You're talking about peppermint. Now the thing about natural remedies, homeopathic or herbs or so, it kind of, what it really does for you is boosting the immune system, so that the body's own defense steps in and takes care of the disease. So they don't tend to treat the disease, they tend to stimulate the immune system, so that the body's defense will fight whatever virus you're fighting against. And that's what I really love about it. So back to the list, you're talking about peppermint, you're talking about eucalyptus oils, rosemary oil. If you're going to use the oils, you can put them in the water and inhale the steam. That will help you. Close to the end of this video, I will tell you some little decoctions that you can make and how you can use them to help to fight the chronic sinusitis. All right, so we're talking about elecampane, rosemary, thyme, peppermint. I said those before. Juniper, apple cider vinegar is quite a big one, lemon, and honey. So you can mix the apple cider vinegar with the honey and the lemon, and you take that like 3 times for the day. You want to, I mentioned sage before. Vitex is a good one. Vitex is also, it acts as a hormone. It's also very good for women. So understand that for those with hot flashes, going through menopause, having PMS issues, Vitex is a good one. Evening primrose is also another very good one for women with those issues. All right, back to the topic. All right, so you're talking about cloves. You can make warm compressions as well, and with the warm compression you can add the essential oils to that. So you might get a towel or a rag and you pour water on it to make it like hot water. You want to use it as warm as you can, bear it because you're not trying to irritate your skin now, and you put it over your nose here. You're inhaling the oils, but and it's helping to clear up the sinuses, decrease the swelling, but also the heat and the warmth will also help to decrease the swelling. So you just want to put like a hot rag or towel over the area. Lavender oil is another good one. You have red root. Remember, you can pour this oil in hot water, the sesame oil, and you benefit from inhaling the steam because you're trying to get the swelling of the sinuses down. All right, you're talking about papaya. We know the papaya leaves are good. The papaya fruit is also good. We talk about spikenard, oregano oil. Oregano oil is good for cleaning out your inside as well. I did a video and I explained a little about that. It's very, very harsh, so you want to be very careful how you take that. But also it's one of the oils that you can use for steaming and help you to clear your sinuses up. Astragalus is a good one. Yarrow, which is Y-A-R-R-O, very good. So these are some of the things that you want to use to help you to clear your sinuses, and you know, you can use them like twice per day. There's one new one I read about today. I've not read enough, but I'll mention it just so that you can do your own research, and I'll spell it for you because it's gonna be hard to pronounce, but it's Vazonzo TVO. So it's spelled V-O-Z-O-N-Z-O and then TVO. So it's two words, all right? VOZONZO and then TVO. So that one you want to check if you're having problems with nasal polyps, because some persons have to do surgeries to get them out, or you know, because of that, but they tend to grow back. But I understand that this product is really very good, so you want to definitely do some more research on it. Lemon juice is very good. Horseradish is very good. Cayenne pepper, of course, again, is very good. You know, you can always mix the cayenne pepper with your vinegar, your lemon, your honey, and you take that 2 or 3 times a day. All right, so you do your nasal irrigation, which is where you put the water in, whether you want to put make your own saline, or if you had like a syringe, you could like syringe some of it up in one side of the nostril and it comes through the next, or and then you do the other side, so you're washing and draining the sinuses. All right, you can make turmeric and ginger root, and remember, turmeric always needs black pepper in order for us to absorb it. So you want your turmeric, you can do the turmeric, the apple cider vinegar. You can put cayenne pepper in that too, and a little black pepper. You can sweeten that with honey. You take that 2 or 3 times per day. All right, so those are some of the things that you can use for the sinuses. I ask you every time I do the videos to write down some of the things that I say. If you can't get everything, you try to get as much as you can and see how they help you and see which works best with you and the one that you like the most. All right, most of the time you go to the doctor, you're prescribed a steroid, and it works, yeah, because the thing about allopathic medicine is that you always get an immediate relief, which is why persons tend to run to the allopathic means, because they want quick relief. But then sometimes the side effect, it's not worth it. And so yes, so you might be prescribed a steroid and other sometimes over-the-counter medication. If it's really bad, you get a prescription, you have to go to the pharmacy. All right, but the thing about the steroids is that you must understand it reduces your white blood cell, which is what fight it is your immune. If your white blood cells are reduced, it means that your immune system is lowered. So that's what the steroid does. It reduces the histamine response. Now, histamine is your body's natural response to a foreign object. It's like, what is this? I don't like this. You know, that's the response. So it is natural and it is good. What the antihistamine does is that it blocks that kind of a response. So it hasn't dealt with the problem, but it really blocks the response. response. All right, which is what pain medication tend to do. They're kind of like what should I say, like or neurotransmitters. They basically block the messages so we don't feel the pain anymore, but it has not dealt with what is really the cause of the pain. So that's how the pain medications work. All right, so you don't want to just block symptoms or the pain. You really also want to find what is really the cause or the source, and you want to deal with whatever is causing the problem, not just blocking the stopping symptoms. Okay, all right, so one of the things I find persons with bad allergies, when I encourage them to increase their doses of vitamin C to at least 2,000 a day, it helped tremendously, like tremendously. All right, I can't emphasize enough how good vitamin C is in really building up our immune system. Steroids can be addictive. That's important. It can cause people to be, to have mood swings, tend to be a bit more angry. When kids asthmatic and they give them these pumps, sometimes they tend to just have a whole lot of energy just all over the place, can't be controlled. They increase your blood sugar sometimes, cause mood change. It reduces the libido, and it causes weight gain. All right, so that's some of the things you might notice if you're on some kind of a steroid drug. So also pay attention to that. All right, so I'm going to leave you with some combinations that you can make, these little decoctions, and see how they help you with the sinus, how they help you to manage the chronic sinusitis. So the first one, I'm going to give you the ingredients, and you just make the ones that you can find. And remember, from all the things I've mentioned, you can make your stuff. You can do the garlic, the thyme, and probably a little lemon, your basil leaf, a little lemon. So you can always create your own combinations. So you want to use 10 cloves, 10 mint leaves, and 10 eucalyptus leaf. Okay, if you're not working with leaves, you're working with oils. So you could do either. You want to boil it, and then you want to inhale the steam. So this is when you're doing these steams. You can do them first thing in the morning, and you can do them, of course, in the evening. So you want to try the steam twice per day and see how it helps you, especially if you're really having a lot of headache and just being really stressed by this chronic sinusitis problem. All right, number 2 combination, you can use your cloves, your basil, your ginger. You want to grind them and apply them to the forehead, and you let that stay for like 20 to 30 minutes and see how that works for you. Another thing that is good is hyssop, pine oil, lomatium, I mentioned that in one of my first videos, and myrrh. Myrrh is good, and I did mention the juniper before. Now also, one of the things that you can do with the sinus infection, another thing that you can try to do other than like the steaming and putting the warm cloth over the area, you can push like your tongue up to the roof of your mouth. So you want, that is like applying a bit of pressure, and then you'll use your finger and you put a little pressure on it, on the middle between like your eyebrows right here. Just apply a little pressure, and you want to do that for like 20 seconds, because this is your one of the pressure points for your sinuses, so it will help. All right, you will feel the sinus start draining when you do that. So remember, that's just a little exercise you could try. All right, Echinacea root, I'm talking about the third decoction that you're gonna try. Echinacea root with golden seal root in equal portions. You're going to grind it to a powder, boil it, and drink it twice per day. So if you don't grind it to a powder and you're the type that's just gonna put it in the pot and let it boil, equal portions, and then you drink that twice per day. All right, number 4, You want to eat 2 pegs of garlic every morning on an empty stomach, and that will help you to combat, you know, any kind of allergies out there. Or you want to boil 4 pegs of garlic for 10 minutes. Cover your head with a towel, and then you're going to inhale the steam from that for 3 to 4 minutes. All right, so you're going to boil like 4 pegs of garlic, and you cover your head with a towel, and then, you know, you're inhaling the steam from that for 3 to 4 minutes. Number 5, you can, and there's a lot of garlic all the way, crush the garlic with olive oil and a pinch of salt, and you take 1 tablespoon of that before meals, and you do that for 2 to 3 weeks. So you're gonna crush the garlic in some olive oil, put a pinch of salt in it, and that you will take a tablespoon of that 2 weeks before every meal, and see how these things help you. And the last one is 3 pegs of garlic, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, and you boil that for like 10 minutes, and you drink it warm daily. All right, so that's like what, 3 pegs garlic, a little turmeric, and with the turmeric, remember, you always need your black pepper. All right, also remember, you can do the turmeric with the cayenne pepper and the garlic. You can boil that, and you take it, you drink it warm every day. So these are some of the things you can do. I know it is a challenge, it's uncomfortable, it's very costly too, and also sometimes the medicines give us a lot of side effect. Also remember your dairy. You really want to cut down on the dairies and on the sugar and your consumption of alcohol, and this should help somewhat to ease, 1, your allergic reactions, especially if you increase your intake of vitamin C. 2, it will help you to manage the chronic sinusitis, and you should be feeling some improvement, but you have to be consistent. Sometimes people tend to say it didn't work. It didn't work because in what measure did you do it? How long did you do it for, if at all you even really did it or tried doing it right? So, you know, try your best to try any one of these and see how it works for you. And I'd like your feedback as well. All right, do have a good day.